Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Empower Your Health Naturally. My name is Catherine Moore, and I am here today with Skip Archimedes, mentor to the stars. He is an absolutely awesome mentor. I have just completed a Supercharge experience with him, which was totally shifting. I have changed habits from this weekend. It is an incredible experience. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I would love for you to introduce yourself and give the 1 minute of yourself to our audience today, Skip.
We've got 1 minute. So, okay, bullet points. So, I travel the world. I coached like celebrities, top CEOs, top athletes, basically people who are the front runners in their fields of expertise, and all the way down to any human that wants to take their life from whatever level they're playing at up to the next level and beyond. And how did I get to do that? By being challenged by myself. As a gymnast, I broke my back, had an accident in the gym, broke my back, got told I was never going to walk again. And that's when I learned that there's more power than just the mind and the body, because we know we're a mind, body, and spirit. And getting these three engines, I look at them like three engines, to get those three engines all working again and working in harmony. I healed without surgery, without operation, went back to gymnastics and gained the English Sports Acrobatics Championship title. And really, I'm just the same as you. I breathe, I've got a heart that beats, I can tap into the same stuff. And this is what I'm now teaching people to do, is to live a life of miracles. And what I've learned is that we're so disconnected from the truth in life. And when we get connected, we can literally start to take the invisible and make it visible, or take something from the fabric of our mind and pull it into this reality. So that's what I love doing. That's what I do. We created a superfood company as well, to be able to give people real nutrition, to be able to feed the body and the mind what it needs to thrive and not survive. I'm sure I went over 60 seconds there.
That's okay. People normally do, but I knew you had a lot to squeeze in, because I've heard all about your amazing, miracles that have happened in your life. And we could talk about that for like a whole hour, but we have other stuff we want to squeeze in for the audience today. So so I think one of the main things I got, as you know, I'm a yoga teacher. So in terms of like the movement aspect of what you teach, like I bring that into my life quite religiously. The thing that I think a lot of people are not so aware about, and what I would love you to talk a little bit about today, is how can people really nourish their bodies with the way they are like eating and what they're putting into their bodies, and what is the actual statistic now? I remember you said something about what is it, like the percentage of nutrients we're normally getting with our diet.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can squeeze this again. I want to see how much we squeeze in this half an hour, just to give people because it's shocking. Yeah. So the first thing that people have to do is to understand that we're made of anything from 50 to 100 trillion cells. That's what we're made of. We're made of cells. All of those cells only need three simple things. That's it. The number one thing that we need is what? Oxygen. That's number one. Most people aren't breathing correctly. When people stress, they cut off their air supply. So we've got to teach people how to breathe. I know it sounds dumb, but we've got to teach people how to breathe correctly. Mm-hmm. Number two, we're mostly made of water. And as one of my mentors, Bruce Lee, said, be like water. And it's so true, because water takes on many different forms, as we can as human beings as well. So we've got to make sure that we're hydrating correctly. Third thing is we've got to make sure that we're giving the body nutrients, not food. All food is a shuttle system to be able to get the nutrients that's in the food into your blood. If the nutrients don't end up in your blood, the whole process, waste of time, waste of money. Now, the challenge is people are eating food that's totally devoid of nutrients. They're eating dead stuff. They're eating processed stuff. They're combining certain foods that cancel the value out. And people are literally stepping on minefields. And even if people are waking up and they're realizing, well, you know what, I need to get more live foods in the body. If I want to feel alive, I want to eat alive foods. So what does that mean? Foods that have got the energy of the sun, foods that have got the energy of the planet, foods that have weathered different seasons. which is what we need to be able to do as well. And it's so funny, like, you know, even like, I'll just give an example of a client of mine. Some people may know him on this call, John Lee. Now, when I start to coach John, I basically got him off all of his stuff that he was poisoning his body with before. So the first thing we have to do if we want to make a drastic change is we have to literally stop the poisoning. Not weaned off it, it's just stop the poisoning. Why would you want to carry on poisoning these incredible cells? Now, this is how magnificent we are, Kat. Every 3 seconds, everyone who's watching this right now, it's happening to you, every 3 seconds, life, the universe, source energy, God, whatever you want to call it, you're being gifted 50,000 new cells every 3 seconds. Which means what? Well, you can't just keep growing and growing and growing. So the body's getting rid of the old cells. So a year from now, most of the cells in our body are brand new cells. The challenge is what goes from an old cell to the new cell is all of that information. So if there's toxic stuff in there, if there's negative meanings that we're pinning on things in there, if things are heavy, if we become the victim, all of that gets transferred into the newer version of ourselves. So what's happening for a lot of people is as they're getting older and older and older, they're getting number and number and number, and they're being deactivated. So they start to perform less. They start to wish less. They start to have less hunger because now they're just dealing with all this negative feedback and they become a victim. Whereas when we flip it around, you can go through the same situation, but become a victor. So we've got to make sure that we nourish the body with good food that's colorful, that has the colors of the rainbow in. But here's the challenge. So that's step number one. The challenge with that is all the food, not some, all the food that we now get in the modern world only contains 5 to 20% of the nutritional value compared to 100 years ago. That is shocking. Now listen to this. Guess where I got that stat? Well, guess when I got that stat? 1997. Now since then, so it comes up as the it comes from they basically test all the minerals in the soils on a global basis, and the Earth Summit Report was the organization that did it. They've been meaning to do this more and more and more, but guess what? They're not releasing the data. Now I wonder why. Do we think it's getting better? And let me ask you a question. Do you think it's getting better or worse?
Unfortunately, worse.
So we know that. So unfortunately, even though we've got to eat this good live food, it doesn't contain the stuff that our ancestors was eating. And that's why I formed our Supercharged Superfoods, because you can survive on normal food. But if there are people out there that don't want to survive, they want to thrive, then we've got to make sure that we look for some alternative ways how to do that, because we just can't do it in normal food anymore.
Yeah. And what, like, for yourself, like, what was the point where you got super conscious about what you put into your body? I mean, I know that you are an athlete, and so I guess from a young age you were fairly conscious of that. But at what point did you start to study this more deeply, and were you ever like addicted to stuff like coffee and things like that?
Of course. When I was training gymnastics, my Bulgarian coach said to me, he goes, Skip, we're going to be training 8 hours a day. And I was like, 8 hours a day? I was like, what are we going to do with 8 hours? And he goes, and for that, you're going to need to eat 5,000 calories a day. And I was like, what? And he went, whatever you want. So back then for me, I was just an average kid in an average house. And I'm, growing up watching like the Rocky movie. So I'm seeing like Sylvester Stallone go crack open the raw eggs and drink the raw eggs. I was looking for everything that I could do to help me. Now, because I got zero nutritional advice, I was waking up every morning having like a Sara Lee double chocolate gatto with cream on it and ice cream on it, thinking breakfast of a champion in the making. Like totally go, because I had no education. And here's what I learned. There's a huge difference between being fit and healthy. There's an even bigger difference between being fit and being supercharged. When you're supercharged, health becomes the foundation, and then we start to build that empire, whatever it might be, strong body, strong mind, strong finances, strong relationships, strong career, whatever it might be. But without being supercharged, when you get hit in life, guess what? If you're not supercharged, you're going to go down. And we're seeing people dropping like flies now with their immunity. with their finances, with their happiness, with all these areas of life. And what people don't realize is that they've actually got the answers inside of them. But the challenge that life is giving people at the moment is, I didn't learn any of my stuff from school, university, none of it TV, none of it from the places where I thought I should go and get my education. So when I went back to gymnastics and I got the after breaking my back and I got the, being told you're never going to walk again. And then I find myself standing on the podium and then give me the gold medal for the English championships. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember thinking, what if I believed what these experts around me said and that I would never walk again? I'd still be in that wheelchair. So belief systems are the first thing that we need to change. We need to start to open up to say what is possible. And I remember thinking, wow, if I did this, and because I was studying, like, my mum brought me a whole bunch of stuff on Bruce Lee. I started to study people like the Buddha, people like Confucius. Now, it was still, so all it really did was shift my belief systems, but that shifted everything. Now, you imagine this, Kat. So I'm coming up to like 48 years old, and I'm going back literally nearly 30 years, right? So you imagine about sort of 28 years ago, people say, hey, Skip, you shouldn't be walking, and you're now English champion. What did you do? And I'm thinking, great, I can tell people exactly what I did so they can get the same, similar results in their life. Mm-hmm. And I start talking about energy and frequencies and vibrations. How do you think that got received 28 years ago?
I guess a lot of people rejected that, right?
People thought I was a Fruit Loop, an absolute Fruit Loop. They went, you know what? Skip's got a great story, but he's off with the fairies, this dude. So I stopped talking about it. I took that discipline and that focus in the business world. 28 years ago, we did our first million in year one. And that's still a lot of money now. Back then, crazy amounts of money. Mm-hmm. Now, I realized that everybody is manifesting their reality, whether they know it or not. And they will manifest a reality based on what they've absorbed. Because all of this stuff that they're absorbing is going in the mind. This is why if you're even watching TV, and let's say that you're not even watching TV, but the news is on in the background. You might be working on your laptop, working away, but the news, which is what? Based around fear. That's what they do. It's educational based fear. Because a good headline doesn't get people's attention. A bad headline, bam, we're there. Because people are going for certainty from the news channels, which is generated to get numbers. Right. It's not generated to help people. It's not generated to empower people. It's not generated to boost up people's immunity. So they will always lead with the negative news first. And if you're absorbing that, which we're absorbing billions of pieces of information every single second, like the eyes alone are making millions of distinctions every single second. Mm-hmm. Now, all of this information that we're absorbing every single second, it's programming us. It's shaping who we are. This is why, people, when we do our trainings and people step into our environment, in this world out here, it makes it really easy for people to feel bad and not good enough. Whereas in our environment, we turn the craziness of life around, and we show people a life where you can be empowered, where you can manifest miracles, where you can become like a money magnet, where you can be head over crazy, heels in love with life, with whatever's going on at the moment. And it is awesome. People are like, how the hell is this? Well, you experienced it. Like in 2 days, we shift the way that people look at life. And as you've learned through like that process that we do where people get their power move, and we break through those negative anchors, the negative beliefs, the negative buttons that are deep within people. And we do it in super fun ways where we get to celebrate life, and it literally starts to reprogram people from all the stuff that isn't working. Because otherwise what will happen is the conscious mind can say, right, I've got to change. I need a healthier body. I want to lose weight. I want stronger, muscles, or I want to be more toned, or whatever it might be, or I want more money. I want to be, in great relationships, or I want to be able to do what I love and make money, whatever. And that will change depending on what season we're at. So everybody will go through these different seasons. But here's the thing, if we don't learn how to be supercharged, we're going to step up to life as a watered down version of ourselves. And one thing I know about life is that our greatest challenges are our greatest blessings in disguise.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, yeah, there's so I'm trying to think what's the most important thing to us. But I'm intrigued by, I think probably our listeners will also be intrigued by, I know you have mentored directly a lot of quite famous people. I'm intrigued, like who was the most interesting person to mentor for? And like who was like what was the most fascinating thing about working with that kind of level of people that you've worked with?
I'll use one of my earlier clients. I'll use Tamer.
Okay.
Tamer Hassan, he's a movie star, he's an actor. And I grew up watching his movies and I was like, oh my God, this guy is so freaking awesome. So I just got to know him on screen. And here's part of the challenge. However we're programmed, and some people might not like the saying, what do you mean program? Well, we're the most phenomenal computer system on the face of the planet, and you program a computer, and what I want people to know is that they are the programmer. They've just been taught to be programmed, but they are the programmer, and they can get back in the driving seat. Now, the challenge is, let's say that we've been programmed in destructive ways, and we get fame or we get fortune. When you get either one of those things open up, what it brings out into life is more of what's inside you, because that's going to be more of your experience. So unfortunately with Tamer, there was a lot of programming in there that just knocked him off balance, and he ended up losing everything. He lost all his money. His wife didn't want to speak to him. You know, literally, she served his divorce papers. His kids didn't want to speak to him. And I get him to come to one of my events, and I said, because his management company said to me, he's got no money, and I'm like, well, you're gonna have to pay for it. I said, don't expect me to come and coach him for free. I don't care whether he's, because all celebrities always asking for stuff for free, always, because that's just how they're programmed. I'm a celebrity. I don't have to buy this. I don't have to spend this. You should be lucky that I'm coming to do this at your place. That's their mentality. So I was like, and it's a take mentality. And you've heard the saying, the secret of living is giving. So he came to an event, and Supercharge Your Life, actually. And at that event, things shifted, like majorly shifted. And he was able to then start on his new path. And it was literally, well, just not even weeks after that, him and his wife fell back in love with each other. He became a hero to his kids. He started getting the biggest jobs of his career. And recently, he just got awarded, just before lockdown, Legend in Cinema at the British Independent Film Festival. Living in a £4 million house, 4 million in his bank within a year, and loving life. He's in shape, he's healthy. And in lockdown, he went and personally gave away 500,000 masks. Like, the shift in this guy is out of this world. Now, here was the challenge. He was a gangster on screen and he was a gangster off screen. That's why he was so good at acting. He wasn't acting. He was just being himself. So there was a few times when because he was a tough nut to crack. And there was a few times when he squared up to me.
Wow.
Because people don't like change. It's like, why should I change? Why don't you change? And these people, if the ego's there, it's like, no, you be the change, you be the change. But I teach people to be the change, because when we become the change, we become empowered. So there was a couple of times when, he's in front of my face and I know the stuff that he's done, and it's horrific. Like, it's barbaric.
Okay.
And your heart starts beating, and I'm like, I've just got to stand in the truth. I said, look, brother, I'm here to serve you. I said, but you need to know, if anything happens to me physically, I'm not your brother anymore. I said, the reason why you don't like this is because you've tried every way how to get everybody else around you to change, but you have to become the change. And he turned into one of the most beautiful people I think I've ever known. Like, the guy is, as I said, who do you know? He's given 500,000 masks away. He drove and personally gave him, he's driving his supercar there. He's literally got his car jammed up with these masks, and he was out there giving them away. And he said, look, I'd either be dead or in prison if it wasn't for you. So I thought after that, my God, if I can help him, I can help any celebrity, because celebrity are a different breed. You know, they live in a different world to most people. So, you know, for me, it's just about people. You know, but that was one of the most interesting ones.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I saw a few takes of like his feedback, and he's obviously super transformed. Yeah, I mean, I mean, just because we're on the whole subject of the larger context of what we're dealing with on a global level. What I mean, you said the three things about nutrition, oxygen, hydration, and I know that on people's mind, you know, one of the things I think is immunity. So what what can you say about immunity, like to empower people at this time?
Well, first of all, before I even get to suggest some of the stuff that's going to empower people, let's all take a bird's eye view of what's going on. Immunity should be center stage for everybody now. Immunity should be the only thing that people are getting educated on, because the only thing that's going to help anybody with any type of illness, any type of virus, any type of ailment is their own immunity. There's nothing else. And it comes down to people's lifestyle. The answer is not in the drugs. It just isn't. And the pharmaceuticals are going from medication to vaccination. That they've switched their focus now, because they're realizing that they can be one step ahead of the game now. And people are, you know, they're flying to go get their vaccines. You know, like, it's unbelievable. They don't know what's in it. So the guarantee is there's no guarantee you're not going to get the virus. The guarantee is there's no guarantee that you're going to pass it on to anybody else. So that's what they're saying now. And people are going to get, you know, the jab. Now, the most important thing, like some of the most important things that we need to understand is, right, if the number one thing that we need is oxygen, which is the number one thing, we can go months without food. We can go days without water. We go minutes without oxygen, liver cells shut down, brain cells shut down. Basically, the body starts shutting down. One of the best ways to get that in the body is what? Fun exercise. So we all used to do it when we were kids. I guarantee every single person who's watching this right now, you was once a kid. And if you was a kid, you would have played and you would have moved and you would have done stuff naturally, not because someone was telling you, you got to go and exercise right now. But yet as adults, we're so disconnected from the truth that we need to be motivated to go and move our bodies. We need everything set up to be perfect. Oh no, the gyms are closed, I can't go and work out now. And they're finding excuses to not do the very things that's going to put more life in them. So one of the best things that I probably could suggest is that like immediately you got to move your body in fun ways. Number one, because if they're not moving the body in fun ways, you miss this out. So our creator, God, the universal source energy, whatever you want to call it, something created us, and it ain't called mum and dad, right? Mum and dad just did their bit to carry on life. But there comes a point where, okay, who's their mum and dad? Who's their mum and dad? Who's their mum and dad? And you get to a point where you realize, okay, there had to be something that created the heart. There had to be something that created the mind. There had to be something that created the skeleton. There had to be something that created bones and muscles and ligaments and tendons and all of these things that we now get given. No one had to earn this. No one had to earn the most phenomenal thing on the face of our planet. We got gifted it. And most people are now abusing it. So that's one of the things. What happens is you go and give some free and they go and abuse it. That's why, you know, I used to give like some of our events away for free. But what we found is that even if you just charge a silly amount of money, and here's a saying, if people pay, they pay attention. Even if it's just a small amount, because what we're training people to do in our world now is take. And it doesn't work. You know, I remember like, you know, I've got 10 nieces and nephews, and I remember them just like going to download music and movies and stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? No, I'm just like downloading it. What do you mean you're downloading it? No, buy it. No, I get it for free. I'm like, I get it, but it's wrong to do that, because there's people's, you know, careers that if you want to watch it, honor it and pay for it. And they were like, no, I don't want to. I mean, they're actually now working for me, ironically, because I was like, look, if you go through life with this take mentality, You can take, but at what point do you want to give back? And it's in the giving, that's where the secret of living is. When we go and give, but yes, the first person we have to give to is ourselves. So we've got to learn how to fill our cup up so that the body's got what it needs, the mind's got what it needs. We've got that force of life, we've got that spirit breathing through us, because human spirit is unbelievable when we can use it through a mind that's focused and directed. Otherwise, if the mind isn't focused, the mind's going to take you into depression. And by the way, I've lived in depression. You know, I've hardcore lived in depression. So I understand what that's like when a mind is telling you you can't do it, when a mind is telling you you're not good enough, when a mind is telling you that everybody else has got it better than you. And everything that was coming up was allowing me to be a victim. And as soon as I started to take back control, and I learned by, like, you know, by breaking my back and doing, you know, things that it was life saying, right, you ain't going anywhere until we've taught you this stuff. So what I've learned is it doesn't matter how much we're challenged, life always holds a bigger vision for us. And if we can open up to that, then we can realize that maybe what I'm going through now is to teach me something so I can get to the next level. Because if we're not learning, you've heard the saying, if you want to earn, you got to learn. It's that simple. So we have to go and learn stuff, whether it's events or experiences, because when we've learned it and we've experienced it, now we understand it. Whereas everyone goes and reads a book, they listen to a podcast, they think they go and Google something, and they think they're a genius. And it's all staying at the academic level. And at this level, this is screwing most people's lives up, because the studies that are out there are now showing that 95% of people's thoughts in the modern world are negative.
Wow.
This is nuts. So we've got to deprogram ourselves from all the stuff that isn't working, and then get reprogrammed in ways where now we can focus on what is working. And this is what, you know, I've spent, God knows how much time of my life collecting all this information, putting it into events and experiences. And now we've got literally the biggest events companies on the planet who we now do business with. And guess what? We didn't knock on anyone's door. I just started going from celebrity to celebrity, or top CEO to top CEO. And they contact me and they're like, Skip, who the hell are you? You're training like all of our top speakers and they all rave about you. What do you do? And I was like, if I tell you, you're not going to get it. If you come and experience it, you'll understand it. And they came and experienced it once, and then literally opened up their whole global network, because they were like, Skip, what you're teaching people at your events, this is the next level. This is something different. And it's the new wave of consciousness that comes in. And when people get it, they're back in control of everything, their finances, their mind, their body, their thoughts, their immunity. So sorry, it's a long way round answering your question. So I think what people need to understand now, with all the information that is going on out there, is it's a fear epidemic. Because I don't see people being advised to do things in ways that's really seriously boosting up their immunity. And if I was in charge of countries, that would be the number one thing that I'd focus on. I don't care who's being given a backhander. I don't care how much money could be made, you know, from taxpayers when it comes to vaccines or whatever. What we need to focus on are the people. The people are more important, not the money in certain people's pockets. So yeah, I think it has to come back to the people.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. I'm very aligned with that, as you know.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you for speaking so eloquently on that. I asked this to everyone who's participating in the summit. So I want to know, what are your three, like your top three, because I know like for every successful person, they do the compounding of habits every day. So I want to know, what are your top three habits that you could share with the audience today?
Wow. Okay. So one is actually developed into a thing that we call Club Supercharge. So basically what happened when lockdown happened like over a year ago, can't believe a year was gone. Where did it go? I knew that everyone's immunity was going to be down. So I literally just went on Facebook and I did zero marketing, zero ad spend. I just wanted to see what could happen organically. So I started to give morning yoga away so that people could set themselves up for a day. Just half an hour in the morning because what we need is balance. We need flexibility. we need immunity, we need strength, we need all of these things. Because if we don't have them physically, we're not going to have them mentally, which means that we get stuck in a rut. And I started giving it away, and literally 9 months on the day, which is ironically like, how long it takes someone to give birth, that I get the guidance to stop doing it. And everyone can have this inner guidance. And I'm thinking, oh, I was enjoying doing that every morning, like, waking up and being like, because sometimes, we'd have like thousands of people just coming live with us. And it was awesome. But I said to everyone, I'm really sorry, but I can only take inner guidance. I give what I get down, just like we're downloading stuff on here. When you get the mind, the body, and the spirit working well, you will receive downloads from the universe. That's how it works. We're here to evolve. We're here to create. We're here to leave this planet better because we've been here, not worse because we've been here. So everyone was like, no, you can't stop. No, what the hell's going to happen to my life? And I just started to get this influx of all these messages. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. For those of you that want to come and do it, it's literally just going to be £1 a day. That's it. If you want to be in this club, it's going to cost you £1 a day. And I'm going to be live with you every morning. And we're going to go through what I call supercharged yoga. And I've probably taken about a dozen different yogas that I've studied, put it all in this 30-minute routine. And then we do shares after. And it's unbelievable what happens in those 30 minutes. Like, it's crazy. People coming and saying, oh my God, I've lost this parent because of COVID, that, and I just did this routine and I'm just more balanced again, and I'm centered, and it's still hard to go through, but there's a different energy in me now. All the way to people who started new businesses, and like, it's crazy what's gone on there. And we do workouts on there as well. So I've got another guy who comes in, who does HIIT workouts. I do like a supercharged workout. Sunday, we do like an hour Sunday soulful session, and it's just £1 a day. So what that allows us to do is really connect with people in real time. So it's all live. People can get the recordings if they're not there. And it's just awesome. And it's something that we never did before. I'd never even thought about doing it. And like, even like this morning, when the team was on there and we did sharings after. And so one of the guys who was on Supercharged Life at the weekend, based on that, he's now doing a 10-day water fast. And he's just going through a divorce with his wife. And he said, honestly, Skip, if I wasn't a part of this, I think I would have just kept breaking down. But now I'm empowered. I'm going through all this stuff, and all of my stuff is coming out so I can get rid of it. So now I can be centered and balanced and get ready and focused on what is going to be the next chapter of my life, where I get to step into the best version of me. And I'm hearing all this stuff and I'm like, this is just awesome. So I think one of those things that as soon as we wake up in the morning, I'll tell you my morning ritual. As soon as I wake up, warm water, squeeze some fresh lemon in it. I take a handful of this stuff, which is our chlorella, because most people, when they start their day, they're starting with something that's going to put acid in the body. And that acid's going to break us down. It could be like, the cereals that they're eating, because they got sugar in, so that, sugar is going to turn to acid. It could be like a coffee or something like that, where, a tea, where that stuff that they're putting in, it's creating acid. And we know what acid does. Acid burns holes through things. So it's important to understand that illness lives where there's acid, and wellness lives where there's alkalinity. Yeah. So I want to make sure that I get alkaline. So I put this in the body straight away, and then I'll do a green juice will be made. And then we put our alkaline protein in that, because most proteins are creating acid for people. And again, that protein is going to break people down. So I created a product called Alkaline Protein, where you get all the protein that the body needs, but you also get the alkalinity. And you think about Duracell batteries, why did they last 7 times longer? Because they're alkaline. Yeah. So when we get alkaline, it's now proven that disease and illness and sickness and all that stuff, it can't live in an alkaline environment. So understanding all that stuff is absolute key. And so we have the green juice with our alkaline protein in it, because remember what I told you, even though we're putting live stuff in it. So in that one, so this morning we had kale, spinach, celery, cucumber, ginger, lemon, and grapefruit. So those went in the mix, but it's the alkaline protein that supercharges that juice. And then I'll go and have, so there'll be oats on soap, which will have like seeds and nuts and goji berries and those types of things in it. I then add in our recovery mix, which is a chocolate flavored super synergistic blend. And within one spoonful, because think about this, all food is, as I mentioned before, is a shuttle system to be able to get the nutrients that's in the food into your blood. If they don't end up in the blood, the whole process is a waste of time, waste of money. So within one spoonful of our supercharged superfoods, there's more nutritional value in that one spoon than what most people are getting in their bodies in a week. So before I've even like started doing anything, you know, brain power, like, because yoga is to reconnect the body, the mind, and the spirit. Now that people go, oh, mind, body, spirit, yeah. But think about this. There's only 3 ways that you can experience any form of life. And that's through your body, through your mind, or through your spirit. There's no other way that you can experience any form of life. So if you don't learn how these 3 things work, you're never going to be empowered at the highest level. And one of the things is that we need to feed the body the right fuel. Like I drive a supercar. I'd never even think about putting, well, think about this. When we used to have diesel and petrol, when we used to get people from America come over, the amount of times where, they'd have like, a car and they're putting the diesel in the petrol car, what happens? The engine doesn't work and the car just stops until the engine is cleaned out. This is what's happening with most people. So by making sure that before I go and speak to the team, I've got all those superfoods in me, my mind is switched on, I'm clear, I'm balanced, I'm peaceful, I'm energized, and I'm ready to do what's needed with the team to make sure that we can go out there and serve people at the highest levels. So that's part of my morning ritual.
Good. Awesome. I like it. It's very similar to mine. It's very similar, slightly different order, but yeah. Great. So, and I wanted to also ask about, okay, so this is a little bit like, we haven't talked about this, but you're very like, when you teach, you do like physical movement and stuff, and I just wondered, is there like a short physical practice that you could do for our audience today? Because I'm just present to that we've been sitting down and we're doing a lot of sitting down these days.
Right.
There's some
we can do some breathing immediately, because physical stuff, remember this, we want to do physical stuff, so we'll do it with a little bit of arm movement, but remember, breath is life, and most people aren't breathing correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe, and we will do, I mean, I'm totally put on the spot here, so I'm just trying to think of a gift right now. So we're going to breathe, and what we're going to do is we're going to breathe, and I'll talk you through the breath that we're going to do. Then we're going to push all the air out of our lungs, and we're going to hold that for the count of 20 with no air in our lungs. Peaceful, balanced. Then we're going to breathe again, and then we're going to push all the air out, and we're going to hold it for the count of 30 with no air in our lungs, because we've got to learn how to take control of the mind, the body. Otherwise, what happens is we just start freaking out, and there are all these programs that aren't working. Then we're going to breathe again. Then we go into inhale, and we're going to hold that for the count of 60.
Okay.
And we're going to see how peaceful we can be. Because if we can't remain in a peaceful, beautiful state, guess what? You're going to get prodded by life, and life is going to it's going to hit you. Whereas what we want to be able to have is all this stuff comes in, and instead of getting under our skin, it just bounces off of us. Because otherwise what will happen is it's a toxic world. It's like minefields out there. So let's do it with breath. So let's have a nice straight back, and eyes are closed, facing down towards the heart. So let's take a deep breath in. Push all the air out. Breathing deep into the belly. And push all the air out of the belly. Inhale, follow the breath in. And exhale, follow the breath out. And inhale, sending love to every cell in your body. And now breathing love from every cell in your body. Inhale, breathing peace into the mind. And exhale, breathing peace from the mind. Inhale a smile so the body can feel it. And exhale a smile so the body can relax. And inhale, appreciating your heart that's beating right now. And exhale, really appreciating that heart that beats right now, because if it didn't beat, you'd have a problem. Push the air out and inhale deep. Exhale, push all the air out, and we're going to hold that for the count of 20 with no air in our lungs. Total peace and just trust. Push the air out. Hold it. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale, really fill up the lungs. Exhale, totally empty the lungs. Inhale, tuning into the heartbeat. And exhale, really opening up to more than just the body and the mind. Inhale, appreciating the lungs as they breathe this air in. Exhale, appreciating the lungs as you breathe the air out. Inhale, being grateful for your arms and legs. Exhale, being grateful for your hands and feet. Inhale, being grateful for your ears and eyes. Exhale, being grateful for your muscles and tendons. Inhale, being grateful for all your bones. Exhale, being grateful for all the things that you got gifted that are just free. Inhale, knowing that some of the best things in life are for free. Inhale deep. Exhale, push all the air out with a smile on the face. This time, keep your eyes closed, but you've got to smile so that the body can feel it. And we're going to hold that for the count of 30. Totally relaxed. Push the air out and hold with a smile. Good. Inhale. Now, small little circles like this. Just small little circles going around. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Good. A little bit faster with the circles. We're going to create some Kundalini energy now. We're going to go, we're creating that energy from the base to the crown. And take a deep breath in. And exhale. Inhale deeper. Exhale, push all the air out. Inhale, see yourself making more conscious choices of what you feed your body. Exhale, see yourself pushing away temptation. Inhale, see yourself not eating for an emotional reason, but a nutritional reason. Inhale deep. Exhale, push all the air out. Inhale, appreciating your body and your mind. Exhale, understanding that you're a body, mind, and spirit. Inhale, the intelligence of the whole universe. And exhale, understand that you are powerful beyond measure when we get your body, your mind, and your spirit all fueled up and working in harmony. Inhale deep. And exhale, understand that you can manifest anything you truly want if your heart and soul is into it. Inhale deep into this moment. Exhale, being grateful for this moment in life that we're sharing right now. Inhale, being grateful for your loved ones. So exhale, sending love to every single cell in your body and mind. Inhale, sending love to loved ones that have played a part in your life. And exhale, sending love to yourself. So throughout today, you get to receive some self-love without judgment. Push the air out and stop moving. Take a deep breath in. Push all the air out, making sure that the back is nice and straight. And now slowly start breathing in. And when you get to the top of the breath, we're going to hold it for the count of 60. Inhale. Beautiful. And exhale. Inhale, taking the arms all the way up with the in-breath. And bringing the hands all the way down to our heart center. And again, beautiful breath into the body with the hands going all the way up. Coming all the way down to our heart center, remembering that love is the most powerful force on our planet. Inhale, hands all the way up. Opening the eyes to take the light in, and well done. Namaste, everyone. Good job. Now, there may have been some people getting lightheaded and all that stuff through that. Totally normal. What that means is that we're actually shifting into a better frequency so that we can receive better. It's like, because if we don't shift our frequency, nothing changes in life. And it's like being in an Uber car or being in the car and not liking the song and saying to the driver, I don't like this song, can you drive away from it? And he goes, I can't drive away because I'm tuning in the station. Wherever I drive, we're going to pick it up. What we can do is change the frequency so we receive something different. So that's what we were doing, and it can be a little bit weird for people at the beginning. So I hope people enjoyed it.
Awesome. That is such a great taster. Thanks, Skip. That was absolutely perfect. I just wanted, something that was accessible for everyone. And I really do believe that is the beauty of your work. It's very there were all kinds of people at your trainings, and that inspires me because I think, we have so much wisdom that we can access that is within us, and that's basically what you're teaching, and that's why it's so empowering. And I'm so aligned with that as a yoga teacher. I also teach Kundalini, which it's a little bit of
Awesome.
a taster of that. So awesome. Thank you so much. And I want to say, guys, make sure you click on Skip's gonna give us a lovely free gift, which is all about, it's 5 steps to, I've lost my notes. It's 5 steps to supercharge your 2021. Okay, so you get a free gift from Skip. Make sure you click on that. That's going to be in your email. And we also do have something particularly special with Skip because I'm collaborating with him after having participated in his training, and I really do support what he's teaching right now. So we want to give you a very special offer just for you who are watching today. And this is for the same event that I attended, but Skip is basically putting an extra day on because he has so much knowledge in so many different areas. It's very holistic stuff, and really you can pick and choose what the areas that you want to work on in your life. That's why it's just awesome. So yeah, the Supercharge event, I'm going to hand it over to Skip to tell you more about it and why to upgrade to that for yourself. And we're getting a special offer for you guys today, so go ahead, Skip.
Awesome. Well, let me just take it back a bit. So in the 5 steps to Supercharge 2021, despite the challenge that we're going through, I wanted to give people like the roadmap so they knew what areas we had to focus on. So step 1 is about creating the body that we deserve, having a kick-ass body inside and out. So it doesn't just look healthy or fit on the outside, inside everything's working well, so that the immunity's up, so that if an infection or a virus does come in, the body's defenses will just deal with it. We are so phenomenal. But if we go into fear, guess what happens to our immunity? Bam, comes crashing down. So we want to be able to, you know, use our bodies well with the strength, balance, and flexibility, all those things. So we go through that. Number 2 is we've got to learn how to harness the power of the mind. This thing up here can either make you well or it can make you ill. It can make you rich, it can make you poor, it can make you unhappy, it can make you happy. So if you don't control it, it will control you. Number 3 is we want to make sure that people can understand how they can manifest more money. Because money is just an exchange, an energy exchange. And when we get in that place of becoming resourceful and adding value, we just win at the game of life. It's that simple. Step number 4 is all around like the quality of our life comes down to the quality of the relationships that we create on a daily basis. So we want to make sure that we're creating loving, deep, honest, meaningful relationships. So we cover that. And also we want to make sure that we connect to this universal intelligence, this universal power. Because what do you think is making your heart beat? No one knows. There are forces out there that are non-visible and non-physical, just like we tap into with our devices like 3G, 4G, 5G, and Wi-Fi. No one can see that stuff. And 95% what we are as human beings is non-visible and non-physical, scientifically proven. So doesn't it make sense to want to tap into the spiritual aspect of who we are? So we cover that. So the offer that we literally just decided before this was like, Kat, you came and went through it last weekend, which was a 2-day event, and the feedback after that event out of this world. When we run that event before obviously lockdown, people would pay £1,000 to come to that event, and I think you'll agree that at a live event, people are coming, they're going through the transformations. We don't have unhappy people. People are like, this is exactly what I needed to take my life to the next level and beyond. But we're now making it a 3-day event. So I'm adding a 3rd day on. Now, this is the insane offer that, and VIPs would pay literally £1,500 to be, to go through it as a VIP. The offer that we're giving everyone on here, it's the craziest offer, but they need to take it now because it's only being offered to you guys. 3 days, they can do general admission for £69, or they can do it as a VIP for £147. And if they opt the VIP, they get a whole bunch of other goodies as well, like the VIPs where we do like the morning yoga together. So I actually go through that with the people. The day after the event, there's a process that I take people called Your Sacred Temple, where I had literally one of the world's top shamans come and live in my house in London for about 6 months. And he gifted me this process where you get to take people into their own sacred temple. It's a very shamanic journey to get there. And when we do shares after, people are just like, where the hell did you just take me? That was the single best experience I've had in my entire life, because it's like discovering another part of you that you didn't know was there, but it was always there. What else? Oh, they get a whole bunch of other goodies as well. So I think, so all they got to do is click that link and get registered. And the dates are April 23, 24, 25. So if everybody can write that date down, April 23, 24, 25, we start at 9 a.m. and we go till 6 p.m. But if they opt for the VIP, then we'll be meeting them at 8 o'clock on the Sunday. So they get an extra hour before the actual event starts.
Awesome. I'm so excited. I think I might just come again, actually.
We get so many people back because it's not like, this is what's important to understand, Kat. And you saw some of the videos of like the celebrity clients who I work with. Why do they keep coming back? And I used to ask them, because I would think, oh, they've got it for once, but now I've taught them it. Just go out and live it. But it's like working out. You don't go and have an amazing workout and create biceps from just one workout. You got to do it again and again and again and again. And then that way of living is how you become empowered. So we get people coming back all the time. And they're like, oh my God, the second time, the third time, even better than the first time. Because now they're starting to understand how it works. And they go and use it better, because you know yourself, it's when we're in those higher states of consciousness that we then get to go and commit to the things that we want to do in life Whereas the challenge is most people are making those commitments when they're in an unresourceful state or a negative state or a victim state, and they wonder why they're not manifesting what they truly want. So
That's
we
it.
do the opposite.
Yeah, I mean it's a reprogramming, and that takes time because we have certain habits and conditionings that we used to, we feel like they're comfy, but I just found myself naturally making healthier choices for myself without much effort actually after the event. So I
Yeah.
can see
Yeah.
just being there, being in the presence of people who are committing to their healthier selves, it's just so energizing and so positive. So thank
Yeah.
you again, because it was awesome. And this
It
journey.
really is, but it isn't just the health, it is the wealth as well. And this is what, I want people to be able to understand that. I'll give one crazy example. Like we had this gentleman who, one day after one of our trainings, he manifested a 320K deal. Like he didn't, you can see his video on all of our YouTube. Like people, if they want to see these inspiring videos, just come over to YouTube, subscribe on there, and you'll see all the videos on there. So you don't take it from me because it's too easy to reject. Who is this guy, Skip? Saying all this stuff, and it's too easy to go, don't believe it. And then what people do is based on their belief systems, they're pushing away what's truly possible. And Simon was even questioning whether he could afford the event. It wasn't Supercharger Life. It was another event called Breakthrough Mastery that he came to. But the day after that event, and he was, he was questioning, well, God, I don't think I can afford it because it's a $2,000 event. And, for some people, that's a lot of money for 3 days.
Mm.
And as I said, he manifested a deal, 320K the day after, went and he's continued. And I was like, you did what? And he was like, it was in this strategy that you did, Skip, and this stuff works. And he's now gone on to be involved with a $66 million deal. And his portion of that is 4 million. And that's all happened in lockdown. So the reason why I want to share that is to show people actually what's possible. And because it wasn't like winning the lottery, he had to do the work. And he said, based on this stuff, I went in and I presented the day after, like what you were saying, it was easier to make better choices the day after the event. So when he was going in and presenting after the event, these deals, bam, it landed.
Yeah.
And he was like, before the event, Skip, I just never would have even believed that was possible. So this is where we turn the impossible and we make it possible.
Yes, I love it. And you also say that health is our biggest wealth, which is very much in line with the way I was brought up. My mum always said to me, like, health is number one. And I think that is the foundation that you're building everything else from. So thank you so much, Skip.
Thank you.
I look forward to the next event and working with you again. I think we're going to have this offer up for like 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have this offer up for you guys for 48 hours. So make that choice and, commit to your best self. This stuff really works. So I hope you take the choice. And thanks for being with us, Skip.
Thank you so much. And I really do hope that this has added value to everyone on your summit.
I'm sure it has. And we want you back again on the next one, I'm sure.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kat. Thanks, everybody.